let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me, how things are looking. This looks a little bit too bright. I might just adjust this a little bit. Do that. Do this. Yeah, a little dark. My lighting here is just awful. I think that is just the way it is going to be. Okay. All right, how's it going? Let me know if you hear everything okay. Don't do this too often. Figured why not have the live stream at 2,000 subscribers. I appreciate all the messages. I can barely read the chat, so I got to figure out how to fix that a little bit. Sounds good? Excellent. Okay. So, thanks for showing up. Awesome. We've got a few people showing up here. Yes, that is Tartan Hot-ish. That is what this shirt is. You're right. It's one of my favorites, and my wife bought for me for Christmas, so I've got that going for me. We're gonna just I'm gonna go a little bit of a monologue, and we can do maybe a Q&A for a little bit. But want to thank everyone for subscribing. This has been almost 5 years, I think, that I've been doing the YouTube, and it's just it's been awesome. First year, I think I had maybe 20 subscribers, then it got to 100, and then it kind of grew, and it's kind of bubbled up the last couple of years. I think part of it is, the more you do something, the more you invest in it, and you get a little better at it, and I appreciate the feedback, and I kind of try and do better, and I'm glad that people are watching the videos and enjoying the videos. My content from start to finish has changed a lot. I think you got to see me early on in my mountain bike career. I mean, I've been riding for a while, but I took a long stop from riding. As a kid, I was always riding a bike, always on BMX, doing that stuff, and eventually I discovered mountain biking back when I was in college. But I only did that when I would go to Colorado. I never thought I could do it here. And then eventually one day I went to some bike shop and they were talking about the trails at Elm Creek. And I was like, oh, I got to figure it. There's mountain biking trails at Elm Creek. I got to figure out how to do that. Go check that out. And that first ride at Elm Creek was a memorable one for me because I brought the whole family along with me. And it was probably a day where the forums of Facebook right now would say, oh, it was a bad day, I shouldn't have ride. It might have been closed. By the amount of cars that were there, I know it wasn't. But one spot on the trail, my wife, they've now put a bridge there, but it was a real split spot. She put her foot, went right into the mud, got mud all over her shoe. She told me later she was this close to divorcing me that day. She was so angry. We maybe went 3 miles on Elm Creek and had to turn around. And we, if you've ridden Elm Creek, we rode the Blue, and where you can see before the log ride and where the tool shed is, we basically took the road back and put the bikes on the rack and went home. And then I came back, but she was not thrilled. That is the last time I've gotten her to go mountain biking in Minnesota. She'll go out ride on the East Coast or when we go to Colorado, but she will not ride locally. And I got the kids are somewhat interested, but they're not big fans of pedaling. But the channel has, you got to see me riding, a lot of stuff that I was maybe not comfortable with early on, and gradually my skill has improved, and I've gotten more comfortable riding the trails here in Minnesota, and it's been interesting to see the progression and to go out and find different places to ride, and it's been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you guys coming along and sharing that voyage with me. Trying to keep an eye on the chat. It's great to see Ron and some of these. Oh man. Regular guy mountain biking. Awesome to see you. You came in here. You know, Ron, you've been around for a while. Harry, it's awesome to see you here. Travis, I mean, it is awesome to see Brecken. It's great. Peeping Me Ride. Oh man, it's awesome to see you guys have popped in here. Kind of trying to don't have a really good live stream setup. I've got a 20-inch monitor that's about 5 feet away from me, so I'm trying to watch it and figure out. But thanks a lot for all everything you guys have been saying. I really appreciate that. And I never thought I'd get to 2,000. I really never did. I remember I probably would have maybe like 50 subscribers, and regular guy mountain biking. Gene subscribed, and we started watching sort of stuff, and he was really instrumental in me deciding to keep doing this. I remember he sent me some camera gear. I really appreciate it. I've loved watching his channel, and he took a little break there and came back, and I'm excited to see how much he's grown on his channel. So it's awesome, and I appreciate them showing up here today. Al and Chris is here now. I appreciate Chris. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and it's been a lot of fun to bring you guys along and see how things have, watch me progress with my writing and what I'm trying to do here with the channel. I kind of would go into all my videos and try and think, okay, how can I, there's got to be some entertainment to it, and then hopefully some education, and hopefully I'm going to get to go out and make you guys want to go out and ride as well. But I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate you guys showing up on this stream. I wasn't sure. It's kind of funny. I sit back. I really wasn't sure if anyone would show up, so I'm glad to see that people are on here and talking, and I appreciate it. So that's awesome to see you guys on here. Let's talk about what is going to be the plan for 2021. Last year, I did not go into Wisconsin at all. So I didn't do any riding in Wisconsin, and that is going to be a change I am going to make this year. There are trails that I've never been to, like Hickson Forest, and I really want to get out to. There's also trails in Hayward, like that Rock Lake that I want to get back to, as well as other places like I've never been to Whitetail Ridge. I probably should go ride that one. It's not that far away, and especially since they built some new stuff there, it looks pretty cool. Definitely should check it out. But that's kind of what I'm going to see with this channel. I think I'm going to try and figure out where I'm going to go, ride. It's going to be probably more on that Wisconsin side. I'm still going to go up to Duluth. Definitely going to try and hit Tioga and probably Redhead. And hopefully, I think Duluth's bike park is going to be open. So I'm going to hit the bike park. Probably hit Giants Ridge. One of the places I hit a lot early on in the channel was Cuyuna, and I'm probably going to try and hit that new trail. I don't know how much I'm going to do in Cuyuna though. I really don't. There's so many other places I haven't been to. And I've done so much at Cuyuna. I think I'm going to I only went to Cuyuna once last year, and I don't know if I'll even go this year, but except for that one. I'm going to try and get that trail in. That's about it. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, Whitetail Ridge, it's on the list. I know I've got to go out there. Hey, Alex. Copper Harbor is so far. It's a hard one because that's like, going to Duluth, and then it's like 6 hours from here. I think if I could get, a trip lined up and make, find a way to get up there, I could make it happen. I think I got better luck trying to convince the family to go up to Giants Ridge or Duluth and do a weekend there, and then hit some other places that I can then get it up to Copper Harbor. I don't know if the wife will do Copper Harbor. That'd be tough. That would be the ideal. Let's see here. I want to go to I want to go to Hayward, and there's a lot of stuff there. haven't had a chance to. It's another spot where it'd be cool to just spend a weekend and then try and hit some trails and then go up there. Carver, I probably will hit up Carver. I definitely will. I definitely will because I want to check out their skills park. But I do want to go and see what they're doing at their end. I'll probably get at the Carver. I get to Carver like once or twice a year. Not too often, but I make it happen. Did I spell live wrong or something? I don't know. Or did you spell it live? Let's see. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, Rochester. I definitely will head back down. So there's some stuff in the south of the cities that I need to take a look at as well. I've never ridden stuff in Mankato. I want to check that out. We could probably check out Eastwood. I still want to check some stuff out at Game Haven. I'm not sure if I'm up for the some of the stuff that we did right at the end of that trail, but I was kind of intrigued by some of the stuff that I'd seen out there that we didn't get a chance to do. That was probably a little bit not the big jump, but there was some stuff I think some rolls I want to check out. Yeah, I hear Eastwood. I hear there's going to do some. They're building some stuff out there, and they're doing some more work. So I'm kind of intrigued about what they're going to do there. Elm Creek. I don't know if I will do a video on Elm Creek this year or not. I bet that's another place. Like early on, if you go like my early footage, it's kind of funny. I have a lot of Elm Creek stuff out there. I typically do ride Elm Creek a lot, not as much as I used to. So you might see me out there, but I don't know if I'll do any videos out there. I've got to figure out what I want to do from the content. It's kind of tough to go to Elm Creek and figure out what do I want to video there, because I do feel like it's really fast. It's got flow. There's some cool jumps. I kick myself for not discovering that drop that they have, that little ladder drop that's off on the return that I never really noticed before until one day. And it's like it's the drop before there's a berm. I really enjoy that. We'll see what happens. I kind of feel like, I should do something like skinnies out there, but then again, I hate skinnies, so then I never do it. So it's one of those things. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, hey, how's it going, New Yorker mountain biker? I appreciate it. Let's see. Elm Creek does not really have a skills park area. They have like a jump area, but they have a lot of skills type stuff on the sides here and there. Let's see. It's yeah. So I was thinking about this, and I kind of Monarch is an interesting trail, and I think that if we're talk about local trails and what they offer, I'm curious to see what they do with Monarch, because I think it's for the area, for what we need. That area needs representation of single track, and it's great they put something down there. But they basically put like an Elm Creek in the southwest corner of Minnesota without any of the additional wood feature stuff. So they need to build some stuff there to make me want to go back and do another video out at Monarch. I'll admit that some of my videos I emphasize how much I enjoy the trail a little bit more than I actually do, and Monarch was one of them. There are some cool stuff at Monarch. I was really I was impressed. I'll admit, and I've gone and we're in there a couple times, but I want to see what else they do. That's that Paradise area. I love what they did there. It's great. I want to see more stuff like that elsewhere around the trail, but that's tough to go there just to really ride that 2-mile section. And one of the things I did when I rode out there, I think I spent like a half hour just in that area going down the big roller, and then there's a couple lines where there's some drops, and then the berms. That's a really cool area. That's really nice. I'd like to see more of that. Unfortunately, a lot of the other stuff I think at Monarch is kind of dull. and it might get faster and it might get a little bit better. We'll see how that goes, but I'm curious to see like what it looks like next fall. So maybe I'll go out there and do a video next fall for Monarch. But I just feel like it's that trail needs a little bit more of something to make it really worth the drive out there. Because that's, I mean, for me, it seems like a 45-minute drive to go out there. I'm driving past stuff I'd rather ride than going that far. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I am so itching to hit lacrosse. So back in the day, I was working as a consultant, and I was out working at Train in lacrosse, and I used to drive down there Saturday or Sunday nights and drive back Friday afternoon. And I did that for something like 9 months. So, and at the time they had, I seeing the bluffs there, I could totally see there was a lot of possibility for some good mountain biking there. So I wish that stuff was there when I was driving down there. I probably would have gotten into biking a lot sooner. But that is a good drive. I definitely want to see what they've got going on there. I'm looking forward to it. That will probably be sooner than later, depending on the weather. I've got to check out, and I want to make sure that two things I'm going to do. I want to make sure that, I guarantee that the trails are open. I kind of want to guarantee that the foliage is a little bit green. I don't want to have it be too dead from the winter, look a little too brown. I want to have a little bit of color in the videos. I like to have a little color in the videos and make a little things pop up. So I might have to wait till probably May, but that's definitely a spot where I'm heading to pretty soon. All right. Yes. Oh, yes. Hit the like button if you. Yeah. 23 people. Wow. Okay. Awesome. Only 10 likes though. Come on. So. But let's see what I'm gonna go over here. There are a couple places I'm looking forward to riding that are the building trails out, and I think it's easier sell for me to say like go to Lutsen and do. I want to do that trail up there and cool stuff like that, and hit some of those. What I really like what northern Minnesota is doing. When you look at what Redhead, you look at what Duluth is doing. I mean, granted, they've got a lot of rock. MTV Zen, awesome. See you show up. I really like what those trails have, and from what the challenge I'm looking for riding, that really appeals. So I'm really looking to spend more time in those areas. We'll see what I end up doing. One of the things I was thinking about doing though is I don't know how much riding videos I want to do for the channel in general. Just I'm still gonna go out and try and hit some of these other places, but I don't want to be. I kind of sit back and say, how many videos do I want to put out a year, and what kind of content do I want to push out? And I don't want to do. Obviously, I watch what you guys are looking at. I keep track of what people watch a lot. So I am a analytical individual. I am a tool nerd when it comes to that stuff. I keep spreadsheets of all my videos, so I know what people watch, what people don't watch, and I kind of keep track of what people watch in the long run as well. So I look at what people are looking at, and those are things I'm gonna. I want to make stuff that people will watch. I don't want to put stuff out that doesn't get views. So I'm gonna try and figure out, maybe work a little bit more on building more of the blogging and more of the story behind the ride than just putting out rides. Now, I will say that there will still be some plain ride videos out there. And since I've got a bunch of guys out here, I don't think I have a link to it either, unfortunately. But I have a Facebook page, and I put videos out there before I put them on YouTube. I don't know if people realize that. I haven't talked about that yet, I suppose. But my next video is on my Facebook page. And maybe if I get enough likes in this video, or maybe we'll push you out before the end of the night. I'll push you out live. But there's a whole bunch of stuff on the Facebook channel that I do throw out early just to see and see how people like that and do that. But you know, let's see what some of the ideas here about the shop build. You know, a shop. I don't know about a shop build, but I've covered all the tools. I've covered all the stuff. I'm building out and making this. This space is a disaster, and this is like the cleanest corner of it that you see. You got the water heater over here in the background. Behind you are two large elephant shelves that are full of bike gear, skiing gear. I still have like all the ski stuff, all my kids cross country ski stuff. There's a ice chest in here. It's just a lot of stuff going on in here. Yeah, it's about the content. It is about the content, and I hope that the videos are fun and are enjoyable. I used to think that a lot of my older videos, I used to try and make them like 20 minutes long, and I kind of started cutting them down and trying to make only in that 8 to 10 minute mark, so it's just the good stuff and get rid of some of the fluff. But then again, some of the other stuff might make that longer, but we'll see how it goes. Let's see what we've got. More on tires. I love doing tire videos, and I wondered if people were going to ask about tire videos. So I'm going to go through my sets of tires here. I have this is a W2B Ranger. Rode this a little bit in the winter, as you all know. That was a very short and lived up season. I have here's a Minion DHR2. Here is the Shorty. Another DHR2. This is a WTB. WTB does not like to advertise themselves. They have the quietest looking logos. You can figure out what that. This is a Vigilante 2.5. Got a DHF. I still have more. Another DHF. This is a 2.6. This is a 2.5 DHF. I have a few DHFs, and then I have another Trail Boss I never even threw on the bike. This is the heavy duty Trail Boss, and I have, to say the least, tried a few tires in my day, and it's kind of funny because someone was asking me I imagine how can you tell the difference? Well, when you've ridden one tire for 3 or 4 weeks or times a week, you kind of know how that tire feels, and then you throw something else on, and if that's the only thing that's changed, you notice it right away. And I remember last year I got flat on my one of my Trail Bosses. I think I ripped a tread on that, threw the DHR2 on the rear. I went to Battle Creek, and that thing felt so bouncy on the rear. It was hilarious. And I was like, oh, I got to pull that thing off and bought something else and put something else on there. I'm kind of, I'm intrigued by the Kendas. We'll see how the Kendas last and how they do. I think they look pretty good. They felt pretty good on the trail. Battle Creek was so dusty. I could not believe how dusty Battle Creek was when I was there last week. It felt like summer. It was just some of the spots were just you would not have believed that no one had ridden there for 6 months. But yeah. Oh, you talk about Iowa. Oh, hey John. Do you remember the first mountain bike? Okay, my first mountain bike. Yes, I do remember my first mountain bike. I still have it. It is a Haro Vector V1. I bought it in like, I think 2002, 2003. I can remember the first time I went mountain biking as well. I was on my wife's uncle in-law has a condo in Vail, and during the summer we can go out there as much as we want, basically, because they don't rent that out that often. So we went out there with a couple friends, and we rented bikes, and we went mountain biking. So I think that was, I'm trying to think if that was even before I got married. I got married in 2000, so that was, I'm not sure if that was right after I got married or right before I got married. So it was right around then. And I came back to town and I want to buy a mountain bike. So I went to Galleons, not even Dick's yet, Galleons, and bought a mountain bike. And it was, I don't know, I lived in Hopkins at the time. And so all I did was ride it on the loose line. And we did that a couple times, and I just never realized I could mountain bike here. And it wasn't until much later, it was that Haro is a 26-inch, I think 1.75 tires. It has a hardtail coil fork. It is sitting on my trainer, and if you go and watch my any of my like original Trainer Road like indoor training videos, that's the same bike. I rode it. I've replaced the entire transmission on that, replaced the bars on that. I tacoed my front tire on that bike at Elm Creek, and that's when I bought the Bantam. I literally, I was riding Elm Creek, one of the fast blue sections, took a left, caught one of the trees with my handlebar, and I think I hit the brake, and it literally just smushed that front tire. I flipped over, cracked a rib, got up, walked the bike back, went to the urgent care on 169 that's right up there, got my x-rays, got a nice little wrap, and I think maybe like a month later, I was at 101 buying that Bantam. I was just like, enough is enough. I'm not gonna. That little bike was not made to be a mountain bike. So I went out and bought that bike. So yeah, awesome. Let's see. I still have the fat bike. The fat bike is currently sitting under my back porch right now. I will do another video on the fat bike. I don't know if that video has gotten a lot of traction. There are a lot of people that have commented on that video, and I've said like, oh, thanks for warning me. I'm going to try and see if I can just ride that bike during the summer and check it out and see how that bike does at a place like Theodore Worth that's just fairly flat. When the North Trail is open and it's good to go, I will be riding out there on that bike and just do a quick review on that and just talk about that bike one more time. I still think I can drop maybe 5 or 6 pounds on that bike. There's things about that bike I feel like, I feel like if I can figure out how to get the fork off that bike and just and switch out with something else, that might help. And putting a 1234 on that bike as a rear cassette might not be a bad idea either. If I can do enough changes to it to keep it under like an $800 running cost, I'll definitely put something out and talk about that, because I do feel like that bike, even though it's just it is such a tank, it's not a bad, when you're looking at, I was looking at those $800 bikes, the componentry wasn't that much different. It was just a little, maybe a little bit, probably a little lighter, probably not a steel frame, aluminum frame, but you still were looking at freewheels with just 3x7 drivetrains and shitty brakes And I could definitely see, I think I think if I would have waited a little bit longer, I probably could have tried to get that Norco, that MTB mountain, Minnesota mountain biking got. I think that would have been a good option, but at the time, they weren't available, and I didn't want to spend that much on it. I'm still really debating about how much fat biking I want to do during the winter, because I do like it's just so convenient for me to ride during the week indoors, and I really want to go ski during the weekends, but I haven't been skiing during the weekends, if you haven't noticed, so it hasn't. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I still have the bike. I'll probably do another video or two on it, but it's down the road. Let's see what we got. What are some other hobbies? Oof. I don't do a whole lot of other stuff besides bikes and family stuff. Lawn. I mean, I used to be really big on the Xbox. I played a lot of Xbox, a lot of Destiny, a lot of Halo. My teenage son has effectively taken over my online profile on the Xbox, and he plays with his friends. So I don't do any Xbox anymore. I watch a lot of YouTube. I'm not gonna lie, I watch a lot of YouTube. I do I'm a little obsessive about lawn care, but just a little bit obsessive about lawn care. I still have, if you guys don't watch like the Lawn Care Nut, I watch his channel. I like his channel. There are a few guys out there that are lawn care that I enjoy watching. So I'm kind of, it's an odd hobby to have, but I've already fertilized this year, planning on mowing this weekend. Big plans. I keep track of all my video stuff in spreadsheets. I keep track of all my lawn stuff in spreadsheets as well. So it's kind of a big nerd here when it comes to lawn stuff. Let's see what we got. Let's see here. What was the question? Oh, I don't understand that. I don't watch any carpet cleaning. No, I don't. I really miss Casey Neistat. I used to watch a lot of his stuff, and I kind of I will say one of the videos he did that kind of changed my perspective on my time management was when he did that video where he worked with that Marine, and he kind of came up with his daily plan. I'm pretty similar. Like my wife will joke that I'm about half an hour away from my bedtime, and I go to bed early. I go to bed really early because typically I wake up around 5, and I kind of figured out early on that I can do a lot before anyone wakes up. That's like, for instance, like a lot of my editing. A lot of times people will complain, "Oh, editing takes so much time. It's so much work." I do more editing between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. than probably, I can just hammer stuff out and do a lot of that early on. And that's like, I do a lot of that stuff. A lot of the stuff that I do for editing is early morning, get a lot of work done before before anyone else in the house is awake. So it works perfectly for me. But that's kind of a aspect of my personality. I'm an early riser. This is one of the reasons why I learned I can early on. I started driving. When I started driving places, I typically leave the house before 6 a.m. So I'm going to go to Duluth. For me, I figured out I can wake up at 5, get the car, get dressed, have breakfast, get the car packed by 5:30. Check my email, whatever. Get in the car before 6. I can be in Duluth at the trailhead by 8:30. And a lot of my videos, I want to have the morning light in my videos. Not super early morning light, but I don't want to be recording trails between 11 a.m. and probably like 4 p.m. I mean, that the core part of the day, lighting is awful. It's a pain in the ass. So I want to be up there early. I have to try and get some really good light for those videos. And, that means just getting up early and going. That works. I remember when I rode in Hibbing, I think I met maybe at 9 a.m. I got there. So that's kind of a hike from Plymouth to Hibbing. And it was, it's a 3-hour drive. So you kind of do the math. It wasn't that bad, but we're not doing that every weekend. Let's see. Yeah. So that's the thing is like, I used to be that too, where I would sit there and hit the alarm and go back to sleep. I learned that if I'm asleep by 9:30, I don't hit that snooze button anymore. So I joke that like I go to bed early, but I still get my 8 hours in, and I'm just going to bed early. Instead of going to bed at 11:30, I go to bed at 9:30. Let's see what else. There are plenty of non-Midwest destinations I want to hit up. I really want to get back to Downeyville. I really want to get back to St. George, and I really want to go to Sedona. Those are the three that are on the peak that I think I can do. I'm tentatively sitting back and watching. Is there going to be a biker camp? I don't think there can be a biker camp this year. I am vaccinated. I got the Johnson & Johnson. I haven't thrown a third arm yet, but I'm not as worried about traveling and that sort of stuff. But I do want to go out and get back to Downeyville. I really had a good time in Downeyville. It was really awesome seeing all those other YouTubers. That was really an awesome experience to see a bunch of these guys from the West Coast and actually get to meet them, because there were a bunch of us there. I know. This is kind of a funny story. I've ridden with B. Cakesy a few times now, and he was there again, and we actually, he's a good guy. We don't talk or anything like that, but it was good to see him out there, and I like that. Hopefully, I'm gonna try and get him to come up to Minnesota. He was gonna come to and do a group ride at Cuyuna, but that didn't work out because of just how things worked out. But hopefully, I can get him back up and key him into Duluth. But I really want to go out there and see Robert and see some of those guys and get back. I kind of want to go out and ride Downeyville, because I had a good time at Downeyville, but I had one of my hardest crashes at Downeyville as well. I didn't get it on camera. It was on my second run doing Third Divide. And Third Divide, for anyone who's never ridden out west and just ridden in Minnesota, it's fast. It's the fastest I've ever ridden on a mountain bike. You basically have a consistent grade of straight line trail, and you are going as fast as you are willing to go. And I don't know if I still have the scar anymore. I used to have a scar on, so you couldn't see it if you tried. It used to be a scar on my elbow from my crash in Downeyville. Fun story, I crashed, got cut up. Daily mountain bike rider patched my arm for me. So that's another name drop right there. Some guys that were out there on that trip. Good guy. So, but I want some redemption for that trail. I feel like even riding it the first time, I think I crashed like on 3 or 4 different spots. And I feel like I'm such a better rider than I was back then. I really want to get out there and ride that trail and not crash. But let's see what else we got here. Yeah, thanks. Group rides. This is the thing. I do want to do a group ride. I'm gonna put some. I'm tempted to So it's kind of a weird thing is where I can't. There's some talk doing a group ride and saying, hey, if I say I'm in a group ride and we're going to do a tour thing, there's some liability stuff out there. So it's easier for me to say, hey, I'm going to be at this location. If we ride, we ride, but I'm not your guide. So that's where it's kind of like you got to word that right. And I think I should talk to Gene because there are some. I know there's some sites that they've done a meetup and you just basically do a. It's all good in the hood, and you just sign a waiver or something, just so you're not going to sue me. But I don't know, it's weird stuff. That's like something put in my head, and that's not that's the only thing I think about when I worry about how that would work. But I definitely think that I want to do a little bit more of that stuff group ride wise, and I think there are definitely places we could do that in the local area. I definitely think like Carver is a great place. It's got a big lot, it's easy trail, it's not very long, it's 4 miles. Definitely a place you could do a ride like that. Other side of town, I'm trying to think of where like Elm Creek would probably be fine. There's lots of turnarounds, so it wouldn't, if you didn't want to do the whole map, that'd be another good spot to do that sort of thing. Not gonna take people into Lebanon Hills. That parking lot's a disaster already. Can't imagine, doing a group ride through that place. There's too many people there as is. Let's see. It's easier to do on your computer than it is on a phone.
Do you want a pink blue?
No, sorry. All right, let's see what else is going on. So when it comes to like trail navigation, I use Trailforks. Trailforks is what I find it easiest to use. I used to use MTB Project, but I think Trailforks is a little bit easier to use. It has most of the trails as well. So, all right. Yeah, you can't tag on you can tag on your phone, but you got to write the @ sign and the full name. It's a pain. Yeah, I don't mind paying for something that I use a lot. So like I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like $5, $6 or something like that. For Trailforks, might have been $4. I don't remember. So my background, in case you're wondering, is software development. There is actually a golf app I put out. I used to golf a lot, and I kind of stopped golfing. But I created an Android app, a golfing app, handicap app, where you could keep track of your scores and as you played. It would calculate your USG handicap. A little bit of a modification because the USGA actually sent me an email threatening to sue me because their formula apparently is copywritten. So you put the work into those apps, and I spent a lot of time on that and learned early on like no one pays for apps. But they will. But I put the free one out there with ads. People download that left and right, and I got to the point where it's just so much work to just maintain an app and keep track of it. And something like Trailforks, they're paying for servers. I don't know how they're associated with Pink Bike. I don't know if Pink Bike owns them, but I don't think they do. I think it's just not sure how that works. But it's a lot of work to have to do maintaining an app like that. So I'll pay for it. I don't mind. I'm not a struggling college student. I've got a full-time job. I can handle it. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. Is that how much it is? Yeah, I did it like I just paid for it and just didn't care. Okay. Yeah. Um, what are you guys' plans? Where else are you guys going to go ride this year? Does anyone have big travel plans? I'm guessing Chris is going to go ride about 5 or 6 different places across the United States. Like once a month, I feel like Chris is either in the Pacific Northwest or in California or somewhere riding. Yeah, I bet you're going to go to Washington. Let's see. All right. Ha. Okay. Python. I'm a Java guy. But what else? Let's see here. All right. Well, I think I think this is it's awesome to get all these people here. I really appreciate everyone hopping in here. This has been pretty cool. I wasn't expecting so many people to show on here. Oh, there's Minnesota mountain biker. Yeah, I'm really excited for Spirit Mountain to be back open. Last year I was probably I think it was 2 years ago the first time I rode into Duluth. I went up there during the fall, and that was my first time. I loved it. A great time. And last year, I think I got up there about 5 times. I don't think I recorded all of them, but I was up there a couple times. And I wanted to hit Spirit Mountain. I've skied at Spirit, and I wanted to see how. I mean, there's definitely some really long terrain there. One thing that's kind of nice about Spirit from the skiing perspective, it's actually some long runs. So I wanted to see how that was on the mountain bike, because it's like I was talking about with Dynaville. There's like you don't have like 35. 35 is a long, fast run, and we don't have a lot of long, fast runs here. And I was trying to look at how many times in trails here where you have a really nice long descent. And I mean, there's not much. That's probably one of the reasons why I really like Battle Creek, is because I feel like you've got a prolonged descent in a couple different spots. You have really quick, short descents at like Lebanon and at Elm Creek. There's not many there that are nice and long. So I'm looking forward to. I so miss Welch Village. Welch Village, I really wish they would open up again, because just getting used to those trails and having a long descent, because even though they weren't that long, but still it's better than what we have most of the time. Just getting used to the speed. That's one thing another rider told me, is that you just gotta get used to going fast, and when you start getting used to going fast, then you get used to going faster and faster. And that's how you can handle I always kind of look at like how fast can I ride certain sections, and how fast just not that means you can go really that long. I want to go as fast as see what I can handle. And I kind of look at like there's that section at Southwest Worth where it's a nice fast descent, and I've gotten to the point where I try and stop, just not touch the brakes at all, and see how goes through that area, go through those rollers, and just keep it as fast as I can, and just see how get comfortable with that speed. But I'm looking forward to that, to see what kind of runs like that are in the Spirits, and I'll have to get up to Giants Ring and hit that park and give that a go. All right. Yes. Thanks, TS. Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the likes. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, this is a Fox 34. I have It's the same Fox 34 I've had since day one. I just took the stickers off. I kind of go back and forth over whether I want the stickers on the bike or off the bike. I kind of decided I don't really care for them that much on the frame. I like having the little bits of color here and there, but it's just that's just the Fox 34. I am looking at making some changes to the suspension. Was going to put a 36 on there, it didn't work out. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm right now. I'm looking at the shock though. The shock is making a little bit of noise, and you'll hear it a little bit in the next video. That there's a little bit of squeaking going on, and it sounds to me like it's close to needing another rebuild. And if I'm going to spend $200 on a rebuild, I'm close to thinking of buying a new shock. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, that is a long. This is and it's a long head tube, real long head tube. I think it's funny because the Bantam doesn't have that super long head tube, so it's something they recently changed. So it is what it is. Yes, I will be out at Levis. I guess I said that I talked about riding Wisconsin. I didn't mention Levis. I will definitely be going to Levis. I'm going to be going to Levis for two reasons. One is that I like the trails, but I also want to hit the brewing project on the way back through Eau Claire. It's one of my favorite local Midwest regional area local breweries is the brewing project. Excellent stuff if you haven't tried their stuff. I have been. I was gonna head up to Bertram. I always hit Bertram. I tend to hit it in the summer and in the spring. Now that I've done that, the drop there, I gotta do that at least once a year, and I tend to hit Bertram sometime in August as well. And it just works out that we have family that has a cabin out on Sugar Lake, which is like 20 minutes away from there. So we normally spend one weekend out there. I normally bring the bike and ride, and ride that out there. So if it's kind of funny. Its location is like out in that region where it's actually just as long for me to go to Kena from there from here. But it's like I can hit the jail trail, or I could hit Bertram, or I could easily hit Rochester. Not Rochester. Harry, what trail is by you? I can't remember the name of it. Lake Rebecca. That's it. So those three are kind of like I'll never hit one of those when I'm out there. Yeah. My favorite trail at Bertram. Huck Harbor is cool. I remember going out there first time I went to Bertram and looking for Loch Ness Monster and the roller coaster thing, and not being able to find it and being like, how the heck where are these things? I went down, and one day I figured out that they were off the Green Trail. And I do like that little section. Or I like the wood. When I go to Bertram, I typically am going for the wood feature. So I want to go out there. I want to hit Huck Harbor. I want to do the Loch Ness Monster. Right? That's the spot where I like to hit. I used to really like going on the back end part. There was some fast sections there that I don't think they flow as well anymore. I don't know what happened. I thought I don't know. I used to think they flowed. There's some really good flow at the end there, and it's not as much as it used to be. I don't know, but that's another place where I'm like, okay, I don't think I did a video. I don't know if I did a video out there last year. I think I might have. I don't remember if I did. But I definitely, that's another one on the list. I probably will do one for this year. That is, as well as Hillside. I need to go back out to Hillside, and I want to check that one out. I know they've built some stuff out there, so I want to check it out and see it. I just never got out there. Last year was bad because of all the work they're doing on 35. This is how or 94. This is how I am. 94 was down to one lane between Maple Grove and I think like Rogers. I was like, no, I'm just not gonna drive that. That was all I needed to not drive in that direction of town. I was like, oh no, there's construction. It's one lane. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go elsewhere. That's just most people don't know this, but I work from home, and I've worked from home actually for the last like 6 years, and I used to drive a lot, like Rebecca, and I hate it. I hate it. I used to go all the way out to like past the airports as part of a job, and it was just I hated driving so much, and so now I never drive. I'll go to Duluth and I'll go for riding, but if I have to be like in traffic, I'm not happy about it, and I hate rush hour, and so I knew that the morning, I think I did it once, and I went out there and got out there, no problem. On the drive back, it took me like an hour, and I was like, never again. It's just the way I am. So I think it was 2 years ago, what I decided to do was go out and find drops to hit. And, it started out simple. It started out like a Theater Worth. I would just hit that little, one of those little, on the North Trail, just hit the little, I think it's just a little stump, and you can just like log it, and it's a short little drop. So I started getting comfortable with that. And same thing at Theater Worth. I started doing you ride I think it's Area 36. There's a little rock. Before you cross by the golf course, there's a little rock drop you can do. That's a janky ass drop. But I started doing that. I started hitting these little drops. And then eventually I got more comfortable, and I said, I'm going to start hitting the drop on the southwest loop. At the top there's that drop area. So I started hitting that. And I eventually got to the point where I was feeling pretty comfortable. And actually they had put some ladder drops out at Theater Worth. I hit one of them. I didn't hit the other one, but I went down and just did it a few times. And eventually I went out to Cottage Grove Bike Park. And I think this is even before I did that video out there. I just hit those drops a couple of times. I just worked my way up. There's a real short one. There's a medium one. And I think at the very end of the day, I was like, all right, I'm going to hit the big one. And I hit the big one like twice. And that big drop there is probably about the same as Huck Harbor. Huck Harbor, I think, Huck Harbor is really a cool feature. It's a really crappy landing. You can go too fast, and you're basically hucking the flat. And I think if you go too slow, it's a hard landing. But it's one of those. It's not a great drop to hit. It's one of those things where it's like, it's a cool feature. It's not as good as it could be. Game Haven, the drop at Game Haven that I hit with Travis, that was the best drop smoothest drop I've ever hit. It's a big drop. But the transition is the landing is perfect. When you roll off that, you're going to land at both tires, no problem, and there's plenty of rollout. And it is easily the best drop I've hit in the Twin Cities. You can go to. It was funny. I was on Facebook and I was reading. I had to laugh at Facebook and on my own group there. It is pure joy to read that forum and read the comments. I'm sorry, but it really is. And some guy was like, "Yeah, I took my I was there with my 5-year-old and we did the green loop, and then we went to the blue loop and we were like, what the hell?" And I was like, "Yeah, if you would have gone to the black loop, you'd probably been fine again. But that blue, there's 2 drops there that are they both feel janky, but they're not. One's a pretty good sized drop. The other one's is they're both pretty good sized drops. So if you feel comfortable doing that one, they're a little wonky, but it was nice to have that sort of stuff to go out and go out and hunt down those other drops before you hit the Huck Harbor one, and just get confidence and just build your confidence hitting those drops. That helped me out a lot. Oh yeah, that Facebook forum is amazing. It really is amazing. I don't think I know of anything new being built out. I don't have the ear to the ground like somebody else does. I don't know if Chris is still on, but he probably knows. I think there's something else being built in Rochester. There are other trails that are new that I haven't like. There's Hawks Ridge, which is in Chaska, not in Duluth. There's Hawk Ridge in Duluth and Hawks Ridge in Chaska. I screwed that up in my video early on. I called the one Duluth Hawks Ridge, and I realized that's not its actual name. Bethel has trails. I need to check that out. I need to check out West Lake Marion again and just see what's happened there. It's curious to see. But other than like new trails being built, I don't know. Last year was crazy. Getting Sun Lake, the Monarch trails, and then the Lone Lake trails. Getting 3 new trail systems plus Bethel, I think, was new as well. I never got out there. I mean, there's a lot of new trail systems last year. It was crazy to see how much stuff was getting built. I don't know if that'll happen this year. And to be honest with you, what's getting built is great that they're building out stuff like that. But I mean, I wish we would. I wish there was more variety in what they were building. And everyone's building these little family-friendly green trails, and that's great. But now everyone's gonna have a family-friendly green trail. Although, hey, if they built a family-friendly green trail in Plymouth right by my house, I'd probably be pretty happy about it if I didn't have to get a car to go ride a bike. Oh man, we got a lot of people out here today. Okay. Yeah, my backyard is way too small for me to actually build anything worthwhile. Monarch, I'm hoping to see what they do. I really am. I really like that Paradise section. The rest of the stuff, I think, like when you first get into Monarch, where there's those kickers, that's a really cool section. That part of the trail I really do like. After that, when you're done riding the Paradise section, that stuff is tough to ride. It's a lot of just pure XC stuff. And it was slow. Hopefully it got smoothed out a little bit more over the winter and it rides faster. But that will be, yeah. Monarch is out in Virginia, so like south of where I think you are, Henry. Harry, I think it's south of you. Let's see. Oh, this is so Shakopee, huh? Okay. I wonder what they're building out there. Yeah, that was interesting because I'm going to bring up the Facebook stuff because why not? It's kind of fun. The Pathfinder that Chris did is awesome. That place looks awesome. And It's what they built there. That makes me want to go out and ride Tioga. It really does. Like the rest of Tioga, I kind of looked at it as like, okay, it looks all right. Nothing really like made me like think, wow, I need to go ride that. But seeing some of the skiing stuff and seeing some of the jump stuff, they actually like, okay, that looks kind of fun. I could see myself spending an hour or two there and just screwing around. But I wonder when that was finished last year. I'm pretty sure it was finished like in July, and the DNR did not open it all of last year. It was never open. Chris got out there to go videotape, record, and do video out there because he's friends of Am Buck, who is in charge of that group. Matt from Brian Dirt, he worked on that trail, so he did that video as well because he was part of that crew. But nobody else, unless you were friends with that in that circle, got to ride that trail. Although I did see somebody ride that. Thanks, Chester. You know where you can go. No one. Travis, take care of him. Nobody knows what like. No one else could go out and ride that trail. It's just the way it is because it was closed. I mean, there were people that jumped under a line and rode there, but the DNR was like, no, we're not gonna open and let people go ride that place, and that sucks. Same thing happened with the Keene Skill Park. I mean, if you don't remember, that DNR sat on that for like 6 months before they let anyone ride it. So hopefully they'll open that up. But they tell you that the Am Buck commented in there. It's like he's more than willing to build something like that in the Twin Cities. The problem is I don't think the landowners want to build anything like that in the Twin Cities. It's just the way it is. I don't think actually I don't think that there's just that many people that are that want that there is a small section of people who want harder trails and tougher stuff to ride, and a lot of people want pristine trails and perfect stuff to ride that's family friendly, and that's fine. It's totally that's where you are in your mountain bike journey. I'm curious to see what they're building on Shakopee. It'd be really cool if they build something like that, similar. But it is what it is. I think that I'll give you a story about skiing with my family. I don't know how many people in the guys ski, but about 7 years ago, I started skiing, and I took lessons at Highland Hills. Did the actually, if you've got kids, we've got kids, so I had kids in lessons. So I put the kids in lessons. My lessons were free, basically. So I got to ski and took ski lessons. And Highland Hills, when I first started skiing, scared the hell out of me. I could barely make it down the green trail, and let alone even think about doing the blue or any of the black trail there. That was not an option. Next year, took another set lessons, felt more comfortable, did the blue trail there, skied enough that I said, hey, let's go ski at Lutsen. Went to Lutsen, did the greens there, did a couple blues there, didn't do any of the black diamonds there at Lutsen. But got more confident, skied more, came back to the cities and like, oh, Highland's pretty simple. Went out to Welch Village, went out to a couple of different places in town. Powder Ridge, went out to and skied locally, and was very good stuff. I was really happy. 3-4 years later, we're going out to Big Sky. We're skiing in the real stuff, skiing down Black Diamonds out west. Come back here, and we're just not really feeling it. I mean, I can go to Welch Village and ski down Chicken, just do chicken laps. My son and I would just do chicken laps and backyard laps. And those were the two steepest trails at ski runs at Welch Village. And it would be like, whatever, it was just fine. Went to Duluth, skied everything there. Like, okay, wasn't that impressed. Lutsen. Went up to Lutsen. We were skiing down the double black diamonds at the back of Eagle Mountain, and just doing laps and laps of the Eagle, the other black diamond trails there, and just like, okay, whatever, getting bored. You get to the point where your skill, once you're skiing here, it doesn't excite, and that same thing goes with mountain biking. You're going to sit here, and as you progress and get more advanced, you're going to ride the trails here. You can still have some fun, and it's still cool to go out with people and have a good time on the mountain bike, but you're not going to be as interested. And for my family, we didn't ski last year. No one wanted to go skiing because we were going to go. We knew we weren't going out to Big Sky last year, so we knew there's no real reason to prep to get ready to go out to Big Sky. Even the year before that, it was kind of tough to even get people to go skiing after we'd gone to Lutsen. Just so there weren't people just weren't, the kids weren't, tough to get the kids to even go out to Welch Village. And you get to the point where, same things that happen with mountain biking. Like I rode so many times at Elm Creek, I'm not that interested in going out and riding Elm Creek that much. It's like, okay, I can do this, and it's fine. Battle Creek, I said, going out to Battle Creek, I was like, oh, I'm actually somewhat scared by some of the stuff at Battle Creek. And it's gotten to the point where even at Battle Creek, the only things that are kind of are the end of goat still kind of gets me a little bit, and the idea of doing skinnies. So, but it's just for me, I tend to be more of an adrenaline guy, and so not having that outlet, and once you it's like once you've done enough times, you're like, okay, it's not that you don't get as much out of it. But that was kind of a rant, and you can get to the point where I don't think it'll come to the point where I stop riding my mountain bike here, but I wouldn't be surprised if I stopped riding just because I'm just not feeling the challenge of what I'm riding. That's why I'm actually going to Duluth and trying to drive more and keep myself more interested in where I'm riding, instead of riding the same place over and over and just burn myself out on it. Yeah, I mean, so allowing some of these features in the parks, it's interesting. I know Theodore Wirth, where they originally had those drops, they were a perfect spot for them. And they took all that stuff and they hit it, and then they brought it back out. And it's cool that they've, you have some stuff there. It's just, I don't know. I'm not good enough to get the speed to be able to hit some of those jumps, and those drops are kind of wonky where they are. But it's, I think there are things in here that the cities have this is a good step. But I think I did a video before, last year, about Brownie Lake, and I've ridden through Brownie and watched people just go around all the hard trails and not go down any of the hard trails. I'm like, why even bother riding over here if you're not going to go down any of these reds or blacks? Because that blue line just going around, it's pretty. I mean, there's nothing to it, just miles. But I think there's a lot of people that just don't do that. Bemidji, huh? Yeah, up north. I mean, yeah, I believe it. I mean, here's the thing: is you look at what they're doing in Bentonville. They're building trails that are for everybody. They're not just building miles and miles of green trail. And I think that when you look at the guys that they're building up in the Iron Range, is they're building green trails, they're building true blue trails, and they're building black trails. And that's, that's what people want. And you've got to have that progression, because people are going to get tired of the blue stuff. What's this guy here? Yeah, I will show this because I don't know if Travis is still around. There you go. No, I'm actually I'm like, there's a trail over by I think Mission Creek that like Mission Creek area. I was not impressed at all with Mission Creek. Mission Creek was like, oh, this is all pedally XC shit that is probably really fun on a hardtail 29er, but it was not fun for me. And they built that. There's a big rocky trail over there now. I'm like, I want to check that out. And then flyover country. I don't know if I'll ever be. I have to see flyover country to see if I actually want to try that run. But that's like, oh, that looks like that's some cool stuff. I'm like, I might actually want to go out and ride that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think there's, I'm actually kind of excited to see what Redhead does because I don't think their trail is. It's really nice. There's some really cool stuff at Redhead. Want to see what else they do there, but it's a tough. To drive up there, it's a tough sell for me. I mean, I think if they build more trail there, and I really feel like this is like you talk about how like one of the things I've been thinking of is trying to pitch a chasing epic type trail trip to like BKC and those other guys. And where would I go? Where would I spend a weekend if I was going to ride? And staying at Giants Ridge, in the park there, swinging over to Redhead, maybe hitting Tioga, hitting Duluth. Where's the other places to go out and ride and truly make that a spot where you can actually like throw some hotels in there and actually pitch this as, hey, this is a true mountain biking destination. Unfortunately, it's not like Bentonville has the advantage of the fact that you can ride in Bentonville basically 10 months of the year, and where the Iron Range, you can pitch the winter stuff, for a couple months a year, and you can pitch the summer stuff. But man, those, I mean, I don't know. I'm wondering how late I don't know if the spring came early this year, but I feel like March was pretty much like. Maybe at Redhead you could probably still put them fat biking in March, but like I know they're closed. I don't expect Redhead and those areas open up until probably the beginning of June. So I think they'll be closed all of April, all of May. Maybe, I mean, I'm trying to think when I was up there. When it was just beginning to open, and I think it was May. But if you can have 4 good months of mountain biking up there in the Iron Range, you can sell that for that period of time, especially summer when people are traveling anyways. Yeah, I need to get back to Mission Creek and try it. Part of it's all the problem with two-way trail is you never know if you're going the right way. And I think like the St. Louis Trail, I figured it was like, oh, this is a green, I should go up it. And I think a lot of people were going down that trail and having a good time. And I don't know. I was like, I read about Ninja Beaver in Loki in that Bike Magazine article, and neither of those trails excited me. And I'm like, oh, these are kind of like whatever trails. I did like Lower Cathedral. I don't think I rode up a cathedral. And the one trail that I think it's called Indigenous Lands now. I don't know what the name was back when I think it was it didn't have a name. That was kind of cool. There were some cool sections to that, but it was way at the end of it. But it was a fun trail. Let's see. Zach, I don't even know where that is. To be honest with you, Pengilly, yeah, I'm not sure where that is. Is there a? But I'll hunt around and see. I've never been up there. 120-minute IPA. I'm This is at least 2 years old. I let this. If not 3. I bought a 4-pack of this like one summer, and then the guy was like, "Oh, you gotta like let it sit and age." And it's strong. It's really strong. I forgot how strong it is. But it's good. I like IPAs. This is a really good IPA. Yeah, Malacca. I need to check that out. I heard like for a while I was saying I don't think anyone was. I guess I thought no one was maintaining those trails in Malacca. It sounds like people are. So I need to get back out there and check out Malacca. I have another uncle who lives on Blacks, and so it's a good excuse to go up there. But yeah, Malacca definitely I should check out. Yeah, cheers. Let's see, we got. Yeah, I know. Some people want easy, and I think that's true. I mean, I think that and this is what I'll say is I think, when I first started mountain biking, the only place I ever rode was Elm Creek. And I never went on the Grizzly Trail. I always just did the Blue. And then eventually I started doing the Black at Elm Creek. Then eventually I started riding at Theodore Wirth. And I rode Theodore Wirth a couple times. And for Theodore Wirth, I used to think Theodore Wirth was hard. I felt like Theodore Wirth, the Blue, the North Loop, I thought that was like a blackish blue. But, that's just, when you're first riding, that's what you experience. And then eventually I went on to Murphy. And I love Murphy. Murphy's actually kind of fun. I do like Murphy a lot. Murphy to me feels like a backcountry type trail. It's just a little bit rugged. And you're far enough away from everything. It's different. It just feels different than like how Elm Creek feels. And eventually I started I rode at Lebanon. And Lebanon for me is just like, I need to ride Lebanon more, but I never find time to ride Lebanon. I think I typically ride Lebanon maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, and that's about it. And I probably should ride there. At one point, I was thinking I should at least ride there. Every other week I should try and get out there and just ride that trail. So I really, like the green, like the blue. Started doing the black. Now started doing the double black. And I really like the double black at Lebanon Hills. And it's kind of funny. It's like, I was joking with Matt from Ryan Dirt. Like, the Minnesotans really love a technical climb. I mean, that's if you don't get some enjoyment out of a technical climb, and turns, that's the other thing, and turns, you're not going to enjoy mountain biking in Minnesota. So you're not going really fast downhill, but you can do lots of technical climbs and lots of turns. If you enjoy that, you'll enjoy mountain biking in Minnesota. And Lebanon Hills is like, I look at that, and I think that's the technical climbing at Lebanon Hills is what makes Lebanon Hills really as good as it is. This other stuff is fun, but it's the technical climbing that makes that double black section is really what makes Lebanon Hills special. I mentioned before that I'm a big spreadsheet nerd. I keep track of where I ride, and I actually I'm a big nerd. I create pivot tables on where I ride, because I get to the point where I don't want to. I used to be at the point where one year I rode Elm Creek 20 times, and that's all I rode. It was just Elm Creek basically, and 5 other times up somewhere else. And I've gotten to the point where I want to try in other new places, and I keep track of how often I ride places. And Theodore Wirth is probably the only place that I ride in the 20s consistently just because it was super convenient for me to ride before work back when I worked downtown, or I could go downtown. Even for now, I could drive to Theory Worth. It's only like a 15-minute drive for me, so I could drive there back and forth and be in before work. And that's what I really like about Theory Worth is that those laps, I can do a 50-minute ride there and be pretty happy about my day, and just do that in the morning and be happy with it. It's just those 1 mile to 1.5 mile loops are just so easy to ride. All right. Yeah, I'll have to check out Malacca and get out there. Yeah, I just recently tried the local 755 from Black Trace. I'll have to try it again. It was a little. I think I put that one at too high a pedestal when I kind of heard so much good about that one that I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But I'm like the beers I tend to drink are sours and IPAs. I like hazy IPAs, so I'm a big hazy IPA guy. And I drink, I lupulin. I enjoy lupulin. I enjoy Omni. I'll head up to Omni a few times. Loose Line Brewery now in Plymouth. I will. For a while there, my wife and I were every Sunday we're going to Loose Line and partaking. The Brewing Project out of Eau Claire is probably my favorite in this area. But yeah, and there's a lot of good stuff out there. It's kind of funny because I used to hate beer. I used to never like drinking beer, and I finally found like the IPAs, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can kind of drink that. And then I found sours, and I really enjoy sours. So like a lot of sours I get from the Brewing Project folks. Modest. So I enjoy Modest as well. I used to work a block. My office was a block away from Modest, and I kick myself for not going there more often. But yes, Modest is very good. When things cool down, I definitely will be going back out there and clean that bar room. I enjoy Modest as well. Yes. Let's see. Okay. How are we doing? 2020? All right. Well, as I mentioned before, 9:30 is my bedtime. I'm gonna finish this off, and I'm gonna head to bed. I appreciate everyone for coming on here. This is awesome. I did not expect to even go a half hour, to be honest. I wasn't sure how many people would show up, and I would talk for an hour and a half and keep 20 people or so involved in this thing. So I really appreciate everyone coming in. I have a video for Battle Creek. It's on the Facebook page, but I will be pushing that out, and I'll push it up probably tomorrow morning for Facebook, for YouTube. But thanks again. It's 2,000. Never thought I would hit 2,000. Never thought I'd hit 1,000 really, but I'm just happy that people are watching the videos and enjoying the videos, and I appreciate you guys coming on this live stream and hanging out with me for this last hour and a half. So thanks a lot. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Maybe we'll get, really hoping we'll be able to ride on Sunday. Maybe Saturday, who knows, but at Battle Creek. But really hoping to be able to ride on Sunday. So I'll be at Battle Creek. I'll see you guys. Have a good one. Hey, Dial. Talk to you later. It's not good.